All right, so I will go ahead and call this meeting to order of the Del Norte County Library Board here at 5:17. We're going to go ahead and start off with public comment. Any member of the audience may address the board on any matter either on or off the agenda that is within the board's jurisdiction. Public comment on items of interest to the public within the subject matter jurisdiction of the committee and not otherwise appearing on the agenda are accepted. Note, however, the library board is not able to undertake extended discussion or act on non-agendized items. Such items can be referred to for staff for appropriate action, which may include placement on a future agenda. If you intend to address a subject that is on the agenda, please hold your comments regarding that item unless we announce it so that we may properly address all comments on that subject at the same time. After receiving recognition, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there any public comment in the room? Any public comment? Any public comment online? All right, I don't see anybody. All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have minutes and claims. Is there anything that needs to be discussed separately from the consent agenda? All right, hearing none. Is there any opposition to approving the consent agenda? All right, none. We will consider that approved unanimously. Moving on to committee reports. We have Del Norte Reads.
Well, good evening, Board of Trustees. Thanks for being here with us tonight. My most exciting highlight for you is right behind me. I want to introduce you to Chuck and Elisa. You want to wait? Chuck and Elisa just started 2 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks ago, we will be working with them on scopes of work so that they can assist in building out our youth tutoring program. So this Wednesday, we have our first family orientation dinner for some of the youth tutor applicants. Chuck and Lisa, not sure if you wanted to say anything. Told you didn't have to. Mostly I just want you to be here so that faces can be made acquainted. Tyler, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, it's good to be working.
All right.
Yeah, we have nine responding tutors so far that we're going to be giving them their orientation and their folders on Wednesday to get started, and just going to peck away at it and hopefully get some learning sessions going maybe April. We're hoping.
Excellent.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, these two are awesome. So we're excited to have them here and introduce them. And then as you can see, the typical Del Norte Reads numbers are attached here. I'll just read them out loud to you because everybody loves it when I read out loud to them. Currently we have 32 enrolled learners, 16 trained tutors, 27 matches, 1 tutor awaiting training, 4 learners awaiting sign up. We have 2 pairs awaiting a match. Sorry, I keep losing my cursor. We attended 2 outreach events since the last board meeting, the Building Bridges Family Summit, and then just this Saturday, the community baby shower. We have 2 folks enrolled in Career Online High School, and there were 53 tutoring sessions since our last board meeting. We have 4 folks with the goal of getting a diploma, 16 working on reading skills, 1 working on math, 1 working on writing, 6 working on communication, 1 studying for a test. And I would be happy to answer any questions, comments, or concerns anyone might have.
Will I be seeing you Thursday at the rec center?
Oh, Youth Wellness Summit?
Youth Wellness Center?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
during the day? Oh yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah. My head immediately went to evening and I was like, what is on my schedule? I don't know if you will see me. You will see the library,
Okay.
you will see
I meant
Reads.
Del Norte Reads.
Yes,
Excellent.
you will see somebody. Yes.
Okay.
Yay, are you bringing your students?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Any other questions or comments for Del Norte Reads? Public questions or comments? Okay. Moving on to the library director's report. Beth.
So, things have been going pretty well. Of the 21 Little Free Libraries that we're stewards of, I've managed to find 11 of them. And I've reached out or have the contact information for at least 5 more. And then I reached out to Heather Poland over at KFUG. She's the executive director. She's going to start doing advertising on the radio for library events. And then Helen and I have been making pretty good progress on the CLLS review, and then I'm going to be out of town again later this month. And then for events that we've been invited to, we went to the community baby shower. We're going to be at the Youth Wellness Summit on Thursday, and then we're also going to the Seed and Plant Exchange later this month. As for partnerships, on the 18th, we're doing a high blood pressure / hypertension event with Public Health. That's part of our rural health initiative opportunity that we got. So we got some blood pressure cuffs, and they're going to come and talk to people about like how, why, and like what kind of information you need to collect for if you're interested in tracking your high blood pressure, or if you have it for your physician. Jessa over at the Food Council, she's the one that's running the plant and seed exchange, offered to come and do like a healthy food related event for us in April, which would also be part of the Rural Health Connections. And then Sydney Lyons, she does the club at the high school for healthcare career pathways. She's going to come in May and do a presentation on that, have some of the kids come out and talk about it and the importance of working in rural healthcare. They found that if you start in rural health, you return to rural health, and that's what keeps rural communities going and prevents healthcare deserts. Rural Health Connections going really well. We just need to firm up a couple more things with some of the events that we're doing. We have that giant TV in the back from them. We have an OWL system that we can start using, and it's all very exciting stuff. And then for Little Free Library, we signed the MOU for the Read and Color cohort that we are participating in. I've confirmed locations for about 4 Little Free Libraries, and there's a couple more locations that I'm reaching out to place within our community. One of them is going to be at Joe Hamilton, one is going to be at Ocean Air Farms, and then the Food Council also agreed to have one, and the Family Resource Center would also like one as well. And there's I've reached out to Mission Impossible to see if the shelter would like one. Lunch at the library, the check for that grant has arrived. We're going to start purchasing the books and supplies needed to run the Lunch at the Library program, so we can hit the ground running as soon as we get the dates for the Seamless Summer announcements of where those are going to be located. Other than that, things are going really well at the library. We've been trucking along, getting things put together, and we got a large donation of books a couple weeks ago, and we've been sorting through those and pulling out what the library can use or what friends can sell. And the other thing we've started to do is collect like adult books, like fiction, nonfiction, that kind of thing that Friends doesn't want to sell, or that we don't necessarily need for the library, that are still in good condition, and we're keeping those to help stock up our Little Free Libraries in locations that would benefit from more adult books versus children's books. In fact, one of our libraries is located at the Yurok Tribe East office, which is in Willow Creek, and they just requested some more books because they ran out. And I dropped a huge box of books down at the Klamath Yurok Tribe office, and they took them over for us, so nobody had to drive down to Willow Creek. But that's helping us flesh out a lot of the boxes, because Little Free Library loves to send out kids' books, but they often don't send out very many adult books, and we have plenty of adults in our county that like to read and benefit from the Little Free Libraries. And then Miss River, nothing to report from Danny. He said everything's going well out there. I do know last week or the week before, a pipe broke in the general vicinity of the library, so they had to close down for a day or so because there was no bathrooms or running water in the building, but that seems to have resolved itself.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Beth. Any questions or comments from the board on the director report? Have we had any applicants for board positions?
We've had one applicant. She reached out to me to make sure that she filled out the application questions correctly. I should be getting those shortly. And then we had another interested party reach out and ask about kind of what the commitment requirement is for the board. So broke that down.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you. Yeah, please forward those through us as soon as they're ready. Okay. I saw that you included any public questions or comments on the director's report? Okay. I saw that you included Smith River Branch in there, so we'll move past that. The Friends of the Library didn't meet this month. We're kind of working independently on libations for the library, getting some stuff put together. I think it's about time I finally apply for the liquor license for that event. But libations for the library is coming up. It is Saturday, May 2nd from 5 to 8 at the Masons Hall. If you're interested in supporting the library, if you're interested in having a lovely dinner catered by Hayuchi Cafe, please come on down. There will be live music by Tsunami Swing. It should be a ton of fun. It's $40 per person, and you can buy tickets online through our Zephy link, which hopefully the library has posted on their Facebook page now, or there's QR codes on all sorts of flyers around town. You can also pick up tickets in person at the library itself. Any questions on Friends of the Library? Public, otherwise?
I'll just add that I met with one of our very dedicated volunteers on, maybe it was yesterday, Susan. And I let her know about the plan that Beth referred to earlier about setting aside some books from generous community donations and redistributing those in our network of little free libraries. And so she's on board with that. I think that's all for her.
Excellent. All right. Moving on to trustee reports. Do any trustees have a report?
Oh, I'll just say that our book club has chosen the next 5 books, and there's a color flyer available right underneath Helen, distributed throughout the library. And I met with Taryn, and we talked about some just basic kind of HR management ideas for building capacity without, a big infusion of money, and, trainings that staff could benefit from, and a variety of kind of management and HR topics. And I feel like that's mostly what I've worked on. Oh, and I also attended the Building Bridges thing. It was really nice I saw Beth talking to one of our big supporters, Supervisor Valerie Starkey, and I observed, I was there in a different capacity, in my day job capacity, but I observed many people enjoying that the library was present, and we got really good feedback from that.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
All right. Any other trustee reports?
Yes, so I attended the Prop 64
Advisory
committee, but there is some confusion on what role I am there for. So I don't know if it's library, if it's a UROC thing. They seemed also unsure.
My impression was that you were there to represent the Tribal Wellness Court.
Okay, because no one seems to know, and I was like,
I'm not sure who nominated
Which
you.
hat you're wearing?
yeah, I'm like, I have no idea why I'm here because I'm involved in a few things, and so I'm not like, how did I ended up here? And everyone was like, no clue. And it took a while because I have an outside email for to get into the meeting, so that was the whole thing. So, but once I figure that out, if it's library adjacent, I'll let you know. I have no idea. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, thank you. Any other trustee reports? All right. I was supposed to have a meeting with Klamath Promise Neighborhoods last week that got delayed. But I should be meeting with them soon to hopefully talk about our new library project ideas. I've completed the contract template that they gave me. I have supplementary documents. I've got everything ready to hand over to them, and so hopefully they can tell us that it's ready to go through their legal, but we'll see how that meeting goes. They rescheduled till tomorrow. I also recently had a very positive meeting with some of Congressman Huffman's staff to see if there was any money for the new library project through the federal allocations process. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. They seemed positive and supported me as I submitted an application for that, as well as some supplementary documents. I need to collect a couple letters in support from members of the community or community organization, so I'm working on that. But hopefully we could potentially get some money through that allocations process towards the project. And then...
Did they indicate how much money?
They said potentially, their standard amounts that they give are anywhere from like 500,000 to $1 million.
Okay.
Through that process.
So it's not like, here's $40.
Yeah, I'll take it. I met with Dr. Kristen Lima of College of the Redwoods Del Norte to talk about the potential of the library and College of the Redwoods Del Norte collaborating on a mechatronics maker space, training space for workforce development, electrical engineering, and potentially even College of the Redwoods holding classes in the new library space, since we want to build out some classroom space. And a lot of the same stuff that they want to do with their idea for a new building was stuff that we want to have in our new building. And so we're seeing if there's any synchronicity there. And she seemed positive towards the idea. What else did I do?
Is there anything you'd like to update us on about the new building?
Inspection report has finally come through. It's nothing we didn't know. The appraisal should be done anytime this week. It was supposed to be done last week, but we haven't got it. But it sounds like it's going to appraise for close to what the seller wanted, so I don't think we're going to have any issues there. I had another meeting, but I'm not remembering what it is right now.
And where is the new building?
So we're looking currently at the Ben Franklin building.
Not sure where that is.
Between grocery outlet.
So on the other side of 3rd Street.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You go out the back of 3rd.
Yep, and so there's still a lot of stuff in the air on that one, but we are currently working on purchasing it and then finding someone who can pay for the remodel. So if we can get some money for the remodel, we'll be doing well. I met with someone else to talk about it. I don't remember who, but I was at JC's tournament all weekend. I did all their live streaming and Jim set up, so my brain is a little fried. I apologize.
Was it Valerie about financing?
That was I think I reported on that last meeting, didn't I?
Did you?
Yeah. There is an opportunity to potentially finance the building through the county, and once we know the official amount from appraisal, then we'll be able to submit that request to the county to finance it through the Stimson Fund, I believe.
The idea being a lower interest rate.
Yes, than commercial for sure. Okay. Any questions or comments on trustee reports? Okay, hearing none. Moving into subcommittees. Did any subcommittees meet recently?
We didn't meet, but I looked at the MOU that was previously referred to, the Read and Color MOU, which would have been under the Community Partnerships subcommittee, but there was no formal meeting. The MOU looked good. The only question was given that we only know 11 of the locations of our current 21 Little Free Libraries, do we really want to take on more Little Free Libraries? But the director assured me that she's working on it and
She will find
that we can handle it if we find them all. So, yeah, I mean, we consulted, I guess, on an MOU.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other
My goal with the new funds that we get is to have concrete places in place
Yeah.
and already agreed before I request the number. Because
Yeah.
I don't want us to end up like we had before where we had all these extra ones that didn't know where to go.
Yeah. And we're not going through a transition this time. So I think our ability to track and record the information is much better now than it was when we were transitioning directors. So.
And I don't want to put them as, I want to keep them in our county. That's some of the other issue with our current ones is a lot of them are on tribal lands that are far away from us, 2+ hours. So trying to hunt some of those down is not as convenient as hey, I think there's one at the Taloa building and I can drive over there and ask.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's one in Hoopa, it's I guess I'm making phone calls until someone knows the answer.
Okay. All right, anything else for subcommittees? Any public comment? All right, hearing none, moving into new business. We have new budget codes. This is a discussion and action item. If you look at the documents here, basically, before we can do any kind of revised budgeting, we need to first adopt the new codes that the county is using. They're using a new financial software, and as part of that, they are adopting new codes for all the different categories. The director and I and Adrian, the bookkeeper, there we go. The bookkeeper, we all met and we just went through like what goes into what based on the new code. There's no real changes to the budget. It's just what we call those, the numbers we call this stuff in the budget by. So if you take a look, you can see all the different expense lines for reads and for the library. And you can see what those codes are under now. We just need to approve this so the auditor can get that input into the system, and then we could go through our budget revise process.
And just
The auditor's office has also already reviewed all of these and made sure that the changes that we made as a trio of like agreeing on where things should go into the new categories is correct. There are some new additional lines. The new system allows for more customization and specificity. So we can have, there might be a couple of extra new ones that when we move into our budget review and then in the coming fiscal years that we can be a little more deliberate in how some of it is spread out between the budget categories.
Okay, good to know.
I would just add for those who are not familiar that every entity that uses the auditor's office is going through this process. It's not unique to the library. This is for the Department of Health and Human Services and for the county building maintenance and for the rec department. So this is not something that, you know, we've chosen to do. It's just part of a larger system.
Okay. All right.
Hopefully this will also mean we can start submitting our claims digitally instead of on paper. That is something that I have been promised by the auditor's office, and ideally I can also convince them to give us digital, like direct deposit instead of paper checks.
Ooh,
That would be-
fancy.
Wow. That's real 15 years ago stuff right there.
Are moving into Star Trek times in Delaware County.
All right. Any board questions or comments on the new budget codes item? Any public questions or comments on the new budget codes item? All right. I will entertain a motion. Does anyone want to make one?
I make a motion, we approve as written on the two attached documents.
Okay. There is a motion to adopt the new budget codes as written. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. There's an emotion and a second. I'll just do a roll call just cause. I guess technically it's money, but there's no money being spent. Whatever. Trustee Duvernay.
Agree.
All right. Trustee McGlasson.
Yes.
Brooks.
Trustee Brooks.
Yes.
No, I was stuck on your name. I was like, wait, is that Megan's last name? Wait a
You
minute.
got it.
I don't know why I second guessed that. And Trustee Napier
glitched.
says
It's
yes
fine.
as well. We need nameplates so bad. Okay. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to the library / Delmore Reads / True North / Trillium Teen Center MOU.
Hello, everybody. This is me. And I don't remember if I talked about this with the MOU team or not. That just occurred to me. However, so this MOU does not exchange any money between the two entities. Essentially, it's part of the larger sustainability plan to maintain the youth tutoring program that we're building. You may or may not know that Trillium Teen Center is relatively new, but it is a youth center that services youth 10 to 22 is their age range. Ours is 12 to 24, and then Coastal Connections is 12 to 24. So
14
to 24, thank you. So anyhow, the MOU essentially allows us to data share, to share personnel, to share space. That way, as we're building out the youth tutoring program, we can really specifically leverage supervision for the youth as they tutor. And then it gives us, if you don't know, Trillium Teen Center is 2 blocks away from Crescent Oak School, so it's a walkable distance, really for Del Norte High and for Crescent Oak students, and for USA students actually. I'm happy to read the whole thing to you, but again, there's no like monetary exchange. It just says that we'll share basically all the resources that we have to make sure that both programs are successful. What I would draw your attention to the most are the bolded in our collaboration. What we really are aiming to do is to co-enroll and serve at least 100 K through 12 students by December 31st of 2027. And then we're working on building out, so results-based accountability, RBA, is what KPN uses to monitor like their data outcomes. So we are going to continue with that same, again, highly evidence-based strategy, right? KPN or not, it's just a great way for us to monitor our own accountability. And then we're really interested to see how we can get that data to land on a public-facing dashboard working with other partners. So right now we're talking with Resilient Denottle that is working on that public-facing dashboard. So those are the particular things that I would draw your attention to. And I'm asking you to consider approving it today, or maybe give me some edits for an approval next month. Any questions, comments, concerns you would like to bring to me?
I would just say that I think this fits really well with some of the other projects that I know you've been a part of, whether it's for Del Norte Reads or, representing another program, but like the county prevention committee, and your close partnership with Resilient Denottle and things. So I think this is just weaving together a lot of things that we've been.
That's what I told you all I was
Working
supposed to be
on.
doing this year, right?
I think
you
it's
got
a lot.
100 more of these coming out.
It's a lot of stuff that has been happening kind of informally, and it's good to make it official. And I like that we're adding some
Structure and language.
yes, and deliverables.
Yes. Yep. I
Okay.
agree.
Any public question or comment on any further board? Any public question or comment? Okay. Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
I make a motion we adopt the MOU as written.
Okay, there's a motion to adopt the MOU as written. Is there any second?
I second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, moving on to item number 3. The library board will discuss and potentially select a bid for a library/Del Norte Reads sub-brand logo designs. Director or Taryn, could you explain this a little further?
Yeah, so once again, this was me, and I think I had a brain fart. Okay, so when I initially showed you all the KPN budget way earlier this year, I talked about creating new logos for the library and the board. And so then I flew a bid, realized later I probably should have worked with you all to fly the bid. So if I should have done that, I apologize. That was major hindsight on my part. Nonetheless, I flew a bid. We received 2. They're for the same price. They're both $3,000. So the bid is essentially a co-logo design. So it would be both the library would get a new logo and Del Norte Reads, and they would be closely related and visually connected, but they would also be separate identifying logos. So basically, open for discussion if you all, have any questions. But first of all, if you want me to refly the bid and have a broader discussion, that's fine. If you want to select one of these bids, that's fine. And if you want me to select, that's fine. Or Beth and I should say, not just me, obviously. And Beth also knew that I flew the bid, so I didn't do it without Beth. But I did realize in hindsight we should have probably chatted about it more first, so I apologize for that oversight. And maybe you knew because in my head I was like, well, I told him during when we adopted the KPN budget, right? But that doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
I assumed. I shouldn't have assumed. I apologize.
So it was part of the KPN budget, which means that we did approve the expenditure.
Yeah.
The bidding process itself, I believe if we're going to do a bidding process, that is something that should go through the board first. However, I don't know that graphic design is necessarily something that needs to be bid on. I'm not a legal expert here, but I believe there's a carve out specifically for professional services. Like if we're going to get a lawyer for the library, we don't need to get bids from lawyers. If we're going to have someone, yeah. So I would assume that a graphic designer would fall under professional services.
But needing
anyone have
and
further-
wanting
Yeah.
are different. Even if we don't need it, it's nice to know that we have two bids that are
Comparable.
yes, so that you know I'm no graphic
Part of it was
design
also,
expert, but
we were unsure of, because like due to the county rules, right? If it's
Yeah.
more than $2,000, it has to be approved by a board, but if it's more than 5, it has to go to bid, and we weren't sure,
What the bids would come.
what prices were going to be pitched to us to really know, because if it was one of those things that if everybody that had pitched to us was going to be over $5,000, like it doesn't really matter. It's going to have to go to the board no matter what. So that was also part of it. Was like, what is someone going to pitch? Are they going to pitch $2,000, $5,000, that kind of thing? It's a little bit of that unsure.
Right. So I believe we would call that collecting estimates. So you can collect estimates without having to do a formal bidding process. And so we could collect estimates from as many people as we want, and then we could go forward with that as a professional services contract rather than having to bid something out. So maybe we need, if this is under the amount that the county requires, $5,000, I don't think we need to do a full bid for this. I will also point out that if the prices are the same, these two contract bid documents, only one of them has samples attached, and it is not shared with us on Google Drive. So there's really nothing here for the board to distinguish between these two bids, other than the fact that one of them is $200 cheaper.
I was gonna say I'm comfortable with the staff moving forward to evaluate if they're able to see samples and meet with the people who would be doing the work and everything to, see who would understand or align with our mission, and I'm okay with
Hi is quick. He just gave me access to his folder. But yeah, personally, I would also be okay with the staff making the decision here on who to go with for the professional services, especially since it's under the amount that they're allowed to do that. I think any kind of library rebrand, however, should eventually come to the board. So while we're going through this process, if there can be edits made and maybe 3 options given to the board, something like that. Once we're finally ready, I think that final rebrand should come for approval once
And
it's done.
I actually think the bid has that, like it
Yeah,
has
the
a
only thing we will
stakeholder
need is
outreach.
before we sign, before Taryn and I look through the design examples and stuff like that, before the decision's made of who we choose to pick of the two, we just need to have the board, like in a board meeting note that just says like the board is okay with us doing this because it is over that $2,000 threshold for like a single budget item, which we still do need board approval for. But we would bring the design logos and everything to you guys as like, this is what we had them create for us. These are the choices. Like, we as a collective unit can vote on the board can vote on the ones that they think will be the most fitting for our organizations.
I guess my only question is, are these local folks by chance?
Yep,
or?
they're both local.
Oh, that's great. That's nice.
It looks like one of them, Hi, did the logo for KPN.
Did KPNs, yeah. And then the other gentleman attached his portfolio into his bid, I believe.
I didn't
might
see
just-
it when I was looking
It
in
might
there.
have just been on his email, actually. Hold on.
Yeah, the only one I saw any kind of samples for was Hi.
Yeah. But he has a pretty large portfolio. Give me a second, I'll find it and link
Okay.
it in there. Or you don't have to give me a second, but I'll find it and link it in there
Yeah.
nonetheless.
I was
So,
just curious because I've had problems on the county side trying
No,
to
they're
pay
both-
like
they're both
organ
local.
vendors and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, we've had that too.
Yeah.
It's
So-
paying anybody out of state we had to do it for the appraisal, and it was a doozer of a process.
Exactly.
Okay.
Alright.
The amount of forms I had to call and be like, hey, have you filled this out, please and thank you?
Yeah.
Okay, so is there any action needed for this item then today?
We just need the board to agree that it's okay for us to begin this process and spend the pitched amount of money, and that it could be something along the lines of like the board approves logo design up to a certain amount of money but not to exceed. And then as long as we have that in a meeting note when we do, once we've already done this process and it is time to invoice and pay for the service, the county will require the board notes to say that you guys knew about it and that you're okay with it.
Speaking of which, have you been taking minutes by any chance, Beth?
No, I forgot to do that because normally I do it in person.
I saw Helen over here was taking notes, so I was going to crib off her notes for minutes.
They're not that complete.
Okay. Yeah, we really need our secretary.
So
Okay.
in the budget, the KPN budget that we originally approved, it was. Oh, sorry. I was going to tell you the amount. Okay, it was 5,000
Okay.
originally. So I mean, those $3,000 quotes, well, fit within that.
Okay.
We have some wiggle room in case we want to add something on.
So, would anybody like to make a motion for a certain amount to stay under for professional services for a logo redesign?
I make a motion that we allow the staff to move forward in contracting a logo designer for no more than $5,000 with board approval on the final images.
Okay.
Less than 5,000.
Yeah,
Because once you
that's what I
hit
She said no more
5,000
then.
But if you hit 5,000, never mind. No, okay, no
No
more
more
than.
than equals less, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a motion on the floor, to spend the $5,000 that we had already approved for Reeds to spend on a logo redesign, up to the $5,000 for a logo redesign. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I have a question from the standpoint, the plan is to do all the legwork and then show the board the final result, or is there a choice
Well,
process?
actually, what kind of in my head, because it's all in my head, whoever we select, I would prefer to give them every board member's name and say, please reach out to them and elicit their feedback before you start the design process.
And these scopes of work say development of 3 initial logo
Yep.
concepts, so I think we'll
Yep.
get to vote on
Yeah.
it.
Right, I don't have any
The way
printouts to
I'm
look at.
Yeah.
interpreting it, so.
And then what I would like to do is have them reach out to each of you so that basic staff, anybody staffing the library, which includes all of you, right? Reach out, kind of hear everybody's input, and then design those 3, and then we do like a round of feedback on those 3. And maybe we don't even select one of those, right? Maybe then they come back and have like kind of a final, I don't know exactly.
A
but-
synthesis or
Yeah,
something.
it's absolutely, yes. But involving everybody's feedback, who's like the heart of the library, I think is really critical to making sure that we get logos.
So this would
that-
be the person who is selected.
Yes, whoever is selected, it's part of their role and what's in their bid is like getting that shareholder or that stakeholder.
So
input.
I apologize. Did I hear a second before
I
that
second.
question? Okay, there was a second. Thank you. So there is a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay. Any public discussion? All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to a vote. Trustee Duvernay?
Yes?
Trustee McGlasson?
Yes.
Trustee Brooks?
Yes.
Trustee Napier says yes as well. The motion passes unanimously. Okay. All right. With that, unless there's any further discussion, we can adjourn at 5:56 p.m. Thank you, everybody.